Hey, my name is Lissette Feliciano. I am the writer, director, and producer of a film called Women is Losers. The film is about a woman in the 1960s and the 1970s who is fighting all odds to become a landowner in America.
Where did the inspiration for this film come from?
My mother. So I was struggling in the industry, and I had to go home and tell my mom that I think I'm failing, and I think I might not be good enough for this. I'm just not good enough. I keep doing the things that I'm being told to do, and I get there, and it's not good enough. And so she, to her credit, sat me down and finally said, "It's not that. This is what's happening." And she walked me through what happened to her in the 60s and 70s as she was trying to succeed in her industry, which was real estate. And what struck me about the conversation was how similar her experience was to mine, except hers was very much on paper and mine was under the table. And I thought, well, that's frustrating and hilarious and sad. And I want to have that conversation with a big audience. So that's why in this movie, our wonderful talent, Lorenza Izzo, who really took to this role like a fish and had a lot that she wanted to say herself. And we're so grateful to have her. And you guys, you've never seen her like this, I promise. She came on board, Chrissy Fit, you guys know her from Pitch Perfect. She came on board, Brian Craig, Grand Hotel, and Stephen Bauer, the generation above us, definitely came to this story too. He's from Scarface, and then Simu Liu, who you guys will all know very soon, September 3rd, as Shang-Chi in The Legend of the Ten Rings. All of us came together to tell this story because when I wrote the script, I sent it out, and they came back and said, "Yeah, this is us. This is our family." And I think that's why this film was really resonating with an audience, because this is everybody's family.
Tell us a little bit about your mom. Who she is as a woman, who she is as a mom, a friend, and a person.
You have to see the movie because that is my mother to a T. She's very optimistic. She works really hard, and she always told us to, find a solution, keep going. And what's always struck me about her was that no matter how many things were in her way, she never lost her smile or her ability to believe in America.
Talk to me about authenticity. What I really loved about the film was It was authentic. Right. It was real.
Thank you.
Talk to me about how important. It's easy to write authenticity on a script, but it's hard to do authenticity when you're down on the ground shooting at ground level. So talk to me about how important was that? How did you work with your set designers and getting the feel and the era correctly? Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so I really have to give it a lot of credit to my amazing team. So we had a fantastic production designer named Susie Allegria, who had done Diary of a Teenage Girl before this. And, she really brought the era to life on a very tight budget. Farhad Dehelvi, we had worked together on the short film that this was prior to this film. And, he's an immigrant as well. So in terms of authenticity, what I would say, our costume designer Liz Baca, who this was her first movie, but she'd done a lot of vintage shows and she knew the time period really well. In terms of authenticity, what I would say is that really having your team come to you and figure out what is it in their experience that they would like to share as well. That across the board really helps because then it's additive to your process, right, versus being subtractive. So I would really say that in terms of authenticity, there's lots of different ways to say authenticity. I don't really subscribe to being the type of person that's unless it's your voice or your authentic, sorry, not yes, your voice, but unless it's something that you personally lived through, it's the only story you can tell. And I don't think that's true because, we have movies about dinosaurs. And the last time I checked, none of us lived around the time of dinosaurs. So authenticity really, to me, means, is there a universal truth that you relate to in any story, whether it's in space or, it's in the middle of the earth or anywhere. So, yeah, the authenticity in this story was we feel really alone, and we feel very it's a Herculean effort right now to just get your basic needs met, and that is authentic to many people, many cultures, many genders. So yeah, that's what I think authentic means.
Have you become closer to your mother because of this project and writing the script?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. With I've seen her differently. It's been such a long process now, but when I first had this conversation with her, I just saw her differently, and I saw myself differently, and that was important because, I didn't have my history, and because I didn't have my history, I didn't know what I was coming up against, and especially it seems like our generation of young women, we grew up in a world where we had a bunch of rights that we take for granted, and at the time that we were making this movie, and even now, those rights are up for grabs. They really are. And that was scary. And the fact that I didn't know, and this was my mom, made me think, oh my God, so many of us don't know how razor thin this cliff really is.
What did you learn about yourself professionally and personally while making this project?
I'm tough as nails. I'm tough as nails. You cannot take me out.
Really? Mm-hmm. Lastly, what is the website and the social media channels for your film so we can follow your film successes?
Yeah, so we're very, very, very active on Instagram. It's a primary channel. So at official Women is Losers. And then you can find me at Lissette, li.ss.ette. But honestly, at official Women is Losers, you can find us. You find me and everybody there. And, our cast is very supportive and we love them. And our crew, it's really a family endeavor here, so you'll get to hear a lot from us on those channels.
Congratulations on such a great film, and thanks for bringing it to Bentonville.
Oh my God, thanks so much for having me, Bentonville.